Hey friends, it's Robin. Welcome to a new reading vlog. Today we are starting the part 2 of my single parent series. If you didn't see part 1, I did a video back in May where I read 4 books featuring single moms, following 3 different tropes. And this month we are going to be following those exact same 3 tropes, but we are reading books featuring single dads. I came up with this concept because I thought it would be fun to put the moms and dads head to head and see who does it better. So I have 4 more books that we are going to read featuring single dads that all have the exact same tropes that I did in the moms video. I originally had 3 books for each of these, but during the moms video, I ended up DNFing 2 of the books. So in order to add a little content, I ended up reading the sequel to If She Says Yes right away, which means that for this video, I actually decided to have 4 books as well. First, we have The Ex's Parent, and for that one, I'm going to read Charming Your Dad. I think the author is Sarah Blue, maybe? I know that this book went around for a minute when Praise by Sarah Kate was getting popular, because everybody was looking for another Ex's Dad book. This might be paranormal. I'm not entirely sure. I will read the synopsis when we get to that book, but for now, that's all I know about it. Then we have The Nanny Parent, and for that one, I am going to be reading To the Moon and Back by N.R. Walker, but this is an MM romance featuring a single dad, and I want to say that the child is very young in this one, like he is a new father and he has a romance with his nanny. And then the one that I have 2 books for is Best Friend's Parent, which is the same one that I had 2 books for in the mom vlog. And first we have The Quarterback by Tel Bauer, which is an MM romance. I believe a football player is falling in love with his best friend's dad. This does have a first book in the series. It's The Jock. I am just finishing up The Jock, so I won't be reading it for this video. Then the other one I am going to read, I actually know nothing about this book. It is Cherry Bomb by Carmel Rhodes. I had asked over on my Instagram months and months ago when I first came up with the idea for this video series what recommendations people had for Best Friend's Parent, and this one got recommended to me. So we are going to read it and figure out what it is together. I think the one that I'm going to start with is The Quarterback by Tel Bauer, just because I am finishing up The Jock right now, and it feels right to just keep the Tel Bauer momentum going. That's kind of the game plan for the week. This is a pretty slow week for me, fingers crossed. Everyone at work is at a conference, like all of the PhDs and everything like that are at a conference this week, and so I actually have a week to like catch up on life. I say that, and I did have an email full of urgent requests, so hopefully the rest of the week goes smoother. But that means that hopefully I can actually get quite a few books read, because the last couple of weeks have been absolutely chaotic, and I've read like 4 books in the last 2 to 3 weeks, which is way below what I normally read. So I am going to get started on my day, but I will come back a little bit later once I have finished The Jock and we can read the synopsis for this one, get my first impressions and all of that. So I will come back to you in a little bit.
Moon, I'm there soon. You need some help. Gideon sighed, exhausted. Actually, he was so exhausted, he needed a new word for it. He looked at Lauren and Jill, his dearest friends, and nodded. I know. Benson stirred, his waking grizzles clear through the baby monitor. I'll get him, Jill said gently, and disappeared down the hall. Lauren patted Gideon's knee. It'll be okay, she reassured. It's the right thing to do. Gideon knew it was, even if it stung. He'd thought he could do it. Being left on his own with a 6-week-old baby had been awful.
So funny story, it's Friday. I filmed that intro on Monday, and life just kind of got wild. I ended up having my infusion on Tuesday. That day is always kind of a dud for me. I get really tired afterwards, and I usually get a headache, and like I can't do anything the rest of the day, which I had like planned on, but I ended up getting so insanely sick. I don't know what set me off or what, but I was in so much fucking pain all day on Wednesday. I couldn't eat anything. I just like laid in bed. I sat there in like the fetal position for like half the day until I could fall asleep. It was not a great time. And then I've talked about this before, but anyone who doesn't have like chronic pain, the day after, even if you are totally like no longer in pain, which I was still a little bit on Thursday, but you get this like pain hangover where you're just so mentally exhausted, and it's like all of your nerve endings are unbelievably sensitive, and so like everything is just uncomfortable and all you want to do is sleep and get brain fog and like it's just it's not a good time. And so yesterday was a mess as well, and I still couldn't eat yesterday because I was still just like feeling the after effects of that really bad pain day. And so this whole week has just kind of disappeared. And on top of that, this was supposed to be my easy week at work because everybody was gone at a conference, and I ended up having 4 urgent projects dropped into my email on Monday. This didn't happen. It didn't happen. I did read one book. I did read a book. I ended up reading or listening to, is it To the Moon and Back by N.R. Walker, and I ended up giving it 3 stars. I thought it was fine. It was very, very cutesy. N.R. Walker's books kind of go one of 2 ways. Either they're kind of like out there and crazy, or they're like, I'm gonna say like sickly cute. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean like they're like low angst, absolutely adorable. Everybody loves each other, and it's really cute. Sometimes I really like that. I really just want like a sugary sweet, no real problems escapism story. And this one is definitely that. It was a little too cute at times, like between the nicknames and like all of that. But yeah, I thought it was good. The narrator was good for this. I enjoyed the book overall. But just a 3-star book. It's not going to be one that like I think about often, but it's going to be like a 3-star book for everybody. Like, you know what I mean? So one of those books where it's like people don't give it 5 stars or 1 star. Nobody hates this book. It's going to be like a 3-star all around. So it is one that's very recommendable and will probably end up on recommendations for that reason, but it's not an all-time favorite for me. That's where we're at reading-wise. Other than that, I have been reading, but I didn't read anything else for this video because the thought of picking up my camera was so absolutely overwhelming that I didn't want to have to do it. And so I kind of paused on the other books because I was like, I don't want to read the books and then just be like, I read everything. But I think where I'm going to go next is actually Cherry Bomb by Carmel Rhodes. I think this is really short and I could use this right now. I've been reading some other, I don't want to say like emotional books. I mean, some of them were, and so I could use something like this. This is also one that I know literally nothing about. I don't know anything about this book, but when I was making this video, I was asking for recommendations, and I want to say Paige from Paperbacks and Lattes recommended this one. Hopefully it's just like a fun, good time, because that's what I could use right now. Like I kind of need that. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at. I am trying to finish up this work project, and then once that happens, I think I am pretty much done for the day. Done for the week, because in all honesty, I am like, I think I'm pretty much at my end on energy to give. The one downfall of doing these types of videos with all indie books is a lot of times there's not audiobooks because these authors have to pay for audiobooks, you know, like out of their own pocket. And so a lot of times these stories don't always have audiobooks. Hopefully my audio, speaking of audio, isn't a fucking mess. Apparently everybody and their mom is driving down this road today. One of the drawbacks of living on a busy street. I'm probably just gonna like continue on the vlog from here, and then hopefully we can wrap it up like mid next week. And not that it really matters to you guys. To you, it's all happening in one video. I don't know why I'm over explaining it. That's real life, unfortunately, with chronic illness. And I don't think I talked about it here. I think I talked about it in a different video, and I have no idea if I think I cut the footage out. But since we're doing a chatty vlog, I'm just gonna do it here. But one of my goals at the beginning of the year was to be more consistent with videos. I've kind of not dropped that goal, but kind of come to terms with the fact that that is not going to be feasible for what this channel is and for what my life is. I make $0 off of this channel, like nothing. I make absolutely nothing off of this channel. I am not monetized as of right now. I don't have the watch hours. In all honesty, I've been sitting at almost the same number of watch hours almost for all of 2023, because it's in a 365-day period. My channel hasn't really grown that much, and so I just kind of keep sitting at the same watch hours, and like that's totally fine. Like I'm not here to make money off of this channel, but that does mean that like this has to come last. You know what I mean? Like my job and my family and my personal life, that stuff has to come before this. And on top of that, I also have the unfortunate issue of I can't always predict my health. I can't always predict how every day is going to feel because I can have weeks where I am totally fine and thriving and living my best life, and then all of a sudden I just get hit with something and I am out for the count. I can't predict my work very well either because I work on a project basis. So I work in medical research, and so if a grant gets funded or if somebody else has a submission that they need to get in or something else comes up, I will suddenly be on a time crunch. And I can't predict that because I don't know until it gets to me. Everything is delegated down to me. And so all of a sudden I can get a project and it be due in the next 8 days. The ability to be consistent and say, like, I am going to post a video every Monday and Thursday is just, it's never going to be plausible for me because I can't guarantee that I can film. As much as I plan out my week in as much detail as I can, unfortunately it changes. And even pre-filming things, while that is helpful, sometimes I can't edit. And you can make time for whatever you need to, you know what I mean? But I sit at a computer all day, and sometimes I am sitting here staring at my computer until 6:30, and the idea of opening up my laptop to stare at my computer to edit a video, unacceptable to my brain. Like I cannot do it. And as much as I'm still trying to be more consistent in other aspects of my life, this channel is unfortunately not going to be it. It's a lot of work to make a video. It's so much easier to be consistent on something like Instagram. It takes 2 minutes to upload a photo to Instagram. These videos take so much effort between prepping for the video and taking notes and all of that stuff, gathering all of the books, all of the things, filming all the videos, importing all the videos, editing the videos, importing clips and stuff onto that video, watching the video back through, uploading it, building the description and everything, because I always have all of the books and stuff linked down below. I link all the people that I talk about. Like, I make sure that my descriptions have all of the information that you could possibly need, and it's so much work. Being consistent with it is just unfortunately not going to work with where my life is currently at. Like, it's not, unfortunately. You can look at the strawberry cat a little bit. Hi, strawberry cat. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to have a little chat about that. This video is probably going to be kind of boring because I don't know how much vlogging and stuff I'm actually going to get done, so I thought that would be a little chat since it's applicable to the fact that this video is getting moved. I feel bad sometimes because I will promise videos and other videos, or I will talk about the order in which my videos are going up, and then as I'm editing, I'm like mad about it because things got moved around and shuffled because life happens. And I beat myself up over it, and I need to stop doing that because this isn't that big of a deal. Like I said, this isn't my job. I'm not making money off of this. I think in the last year and a half, I've made like $9 on Amazon revenue. Like, I haven't even gotten a payout from it yet because you have to make $10 before Amazon will pay you out. And so it's like, I don't make anything off of this. This is only for fun for me. I like talking to people. I wanted to do this to talk about books and to make friends, and I do that. And so I need to stop beating myself up about not being consistent and needing to move videos or cut videos. And so I just kind of wanted to talk about that since this is not going to go up at its regularly scheduled time. So I think that's going to be it for this little check-in. This is a long ass clip, but I'm going to go finish up some work. I'm going to take my lunch here shortly, and I'm thinking I'm just going to see if I can finish Cherry Bomb during my lunch break. Watch me open it up and it's like a regular size novel and eat my words. I think that's where we're going to go next, and maybe I'll check back in with you this afternoon with an update.
Red lips, red fingertips, red light. When we wake, hear the birds and see the sun. Side by side, our fears are done. Oh, the good times just begun. Oh, we know what we have, let's hold on tight. Found what we're looking for.
Hello, sorry about my crazy hair. It is Sunday. It is like 50 degrees. Yesterday was like upper 80s. Today it's like 55 and raining. But my husband is at the baseball game. He's a sucker who got baseball tickets for today. But that means that I have the next like 5 to 6 hours to just like chill, hang out, read. And I was going to be like nice and productive today and take photos and stuff like that. but I just don't have the energy. The lighting situation isn't that big of a deal for me because I have daylight bulbs in my office because the weather and stuff is so unpredictable here. But I don't wanna. So I edited the video tomorrow just so that I at least have some content to go up tomorrow. And now I think I'm done. I just don't want to. I do have some reading updates for you. So I did end up finishing Cherry Bomb by Carmel Rhodes. I'm giving this 3 stars. I I don't know what this was. I feel like 3 stars is generous, but like I also didn't hate it. I just don't think this was that good. I don't know. I feel very mixed about it because I can see why people like it. It wasn't for me in any way, but I didn't hate the reading process or anything like that. Like I didn't hate my time reading it. I was just like done with it and I was like, so we're following this heroine who is 19 and she's in college and she is completely dependent on this scholarship, and she is waitressing to pay for like all of her other bills, and she works at this like high-end steakhouse. One of the like frequent clients is this guy who tends to make all of the waitresses cry. She's the only one that he can't like make cry, so she always gets assigned his table. And so she goes to work, she gets assigned his table, and his best friend is this British guy who has just moved to California to be closer to his daughter, who he has been like trying to get to know since he found out that he had a daughter when she was 10. He got like caught up in legal shit and wasn't able to message her until she turned 18. He's finally like back in town and really wants to get to know his daughter. And our heroine meets him, and the two of them have this like steamy night together. And it turns out that his daughter is her best friend and roommate. And the two of them continue to have this like secret romance. It was fine. I do love the best friends parent trope. I really like it. But this one there was a lot of odd things thrown in here for me. So first of all, our hero kept talking about how him and his friends are like into kinky stuff. And like nothing kinky ever happens in this book at all. Like the closest is like a hand necklace, like twice. And I was just like, why do you keep talking about how you and your friends are so kinky, but nothing kinky ever happens? Our heroine has an addictive personality, and she comes from a family of addicts. Content warnings for addiction. Her father was an addict and he is now dealing with health things. So, content warnings for loss of family members and sick family members and all of that. But our heroine has a very addictive personality, and so she uses drugs and alcohol to cope with everything. I will appreciate that in a book if it is addressed in certain ways, and I didn't like how it was addressed in here because as much as everyone tries to get her to cope better, everyone kind of enables it and just like deals with it. I didn't particularly care for that aspect. I just didn't feel like it was handled in a way that I liked. And then it's always hard when you have these like really forbidden romances to get the reveal correct. And I didn't dislike it, but it used trauma as a way to bring everyone back together in the end. I really don't like that. I do not like when trauma is used as like a catalyst for connection. I just don't like it. And so I really didn't like that aspect at the end. I get why it was done, but I'm giving it the 3 stars because I didn't hate my time reading the book. I just didn't like it in the end. So maybe more like a 2.5. But I have 2 books left. I have Charming Your Dad and The Quarterback. And I know I said I was going to start with The Quarterback, and obviously that didn't happen. But I think I'm actually going to finish with it. And so I'm going to go into Charming Your Dad by Sarah Blue next. Mainly because I am not super confident in this one working for me. So I kind of want to end on a high note, if at all possible. So I think we're going to go into this one. So I'm going to grab my computer and we can figure out what the synopsis is together. It sounds like this is actually a paranormal romance. It says, every witch knows you shouldn't use spells for revenge. Our heroine doesn't care much for right and wrong. She's already on the council's radar. What's the best mortal way to get back at a cheating ex-boyfriend? Bewitching his dad, of course. Our hero was supposed to be her retribution, but he turns out to be so much more. She's drawn to him in a way she has never felt for a man before, but it's clear our hero is so much more than the average man. Oh god, this is gonna be a not like other guys. There's a mystery to him, and she's dead set on figuring it out. With multiple supernatural entities breathing down her neck and her need to avoid the council's wrath, our heroine is desperate to get everything she wants. It might take more than she's willing to give to untangle herself from the lies and chaos she has created. Like I said, I'm not 100% convinced that this is going to be something that works for me. So I won't lie to you right now, I feel like I'm going to end up DNFing this even before getting into it. I don't know why. I just have this like gut feeling, but it's like little over 300 pages. So it's not like crazy long or anything. I wish it had an audiobook, but it does not. That's where we're going to go next. And I will come back to you in a little bit once I've started this book. I'm going to try to actually update you while I'm reading instead of afterwards. Forgot to mention for Cherry Bomb, I said that it was a novella. It's not a novella. It was 300 pages. So I don't know where I got that idea, but yeah, I will come back to you in a little bit with my first impressions. Good morning. So it is Monday morning, and I need to get my life in order because I feel chaotic today. I don't feel prepared for this week at all. And so I feel a little out of sorts about it. That's not what you're here for. You are here for books. So last night I did start Charming Your Dad by Sarah Blue. And first of all, I am shocked by how much I'm enjoying this. I feel like the author is doing a good job of capturing what this book is and not like trying to make it too serious and too dark and all these things. And it's very much so self-aware of its craziness. We're following this heroine who is a witch. Pretty much her only friend in the world is her cousin, who is part of the same coven as her. But our heroine is kind of the outcast because like most witches are very like flowy and flower child and flower crowns and tree hugging, and she is very much not that. And she has a lot of strikes against her because she tends to use her magic a little loosely and against humans, which is technically not legal in their magical world. But she's also the only one in the coven who has a job, and she owns this like restaurant bar, and so she funds the entire coven. She learns that one of her coven sisters is sleeping with her boyfriend, and she's like, I'm gonna get back at him, but I can't use magic because he's human. And then when his dad comes into the bar, she's like, you should do it the mortal way and sleep with his dad. And then on top of that, some shit goes down with the coven, and you are learning that the dad is actually a demon. And so the two of them end up having this like really intense attraction, like their magic is being drawn together and you don't know why. And I'm liking it a lot. The dedication on this one is pure gold. It's something along the lines of like, Ryan, I'm so glad we didn't fuck or use my name in a song against me, so I made you the villain in my book. And I cracked up. And that's very much kind of like the vibe of this book, where it's like it's not taking itself too seriously, but it has enough to it to where it's not just out there and wild and ridiculous. This does have some like not like other girl vibes because our heroine is kind of, like I said, the outcast of the coven, and so she wears like short black skirts and crop tops, and she dyes her hair black and like all of that kind of stuff. It's not bothering me as of right now. The insta lust is very real in this one, but you get the impression that there's something magical going on that's like drawing them together. I love a good revenge plot. I'm enjoying it. That's kind of where we're at. So yeah, 30% in. I want to say my ebook said I had 3 hours left. So if everything goes according to plan, hopefully I can finish this today and we can get on to the last book. I'm gonna go try and get some of my life in order, and I'll talk to you a little later.
Call us crazy, but things are finally right. With you and I, the future is bright. Oh, you and I, we got it. Oh, we don't need no more. Oh, even in the hard times.
I won't lie to you, turning my camera on took Herculean effort. I don't know why. The last 2 days, I have had absolutely no motivation or energy to do anything. And it's not even like my ADHD. I don't know if it's the weather, but I cannot get myself to do anything. But I did finish a book. I just finished Charming Your Dad by Sarah Blue, and shockingly, I'm giving this 4 stars. I truly thought that this was going to be a miss for me. Like, I don't know why. I had it in my head that this was not going to be something that worked for me. And I had such a good time with this. This is super predictable. It's super corny and over the top and kind of cliche. And I had such a fucking good time with it. There were a lot of like grammar errors and like sentences that didn't quite make sense. And like, I didn't care. I was invested. Like I said, it was super predictable. I saw where it was going the whole time, but I had a good time. That's where we're at with that. My Kindle is apparently about to die, so I'm gonna plug my Kindle in. Then we're gonna get into the last book for this, which is The Quarterback by Tell Bauer. From the back of your dad's red truck. And this is the one that I have the highest expectations for. I've never given a Tell Bauer book anything other than 5 stars, and I don't think that this is going to be the one that changes that record. I've heard that this one is fantastic, and I absolutely loved the first book, which is The Jock. So in The Jock, we are following these 2 guys who go to school in Texas. One of them is a football player, and the other one doesn't really want anything to do with jocks or football or anything like that. I feel like I kind of have to spoil it. If you don't want to know who the dad is, just skip ahead just a little bit. He ends up getting a divorce from his wife because she is so unwilling to accept the son and who he is. And so the dad leaves her and he is moving to Texas to be closer to his son. And he just got an apartment there. And so it is one of the guys on the football team who is like the best friend of the other hero, the football player hero, obviously with the boyfriend as well. So it's a recently divorced parent with a football player in college, and it's the quarterback, obviously, hence the title. And I'm very excited about it. I can't wait. I've heard this is slightly less emotional, I think, than The Jock, because I did cry at The Jock. So I don't know what to expect. I don't know if it's actually going to be less emotional, but I did just read Tell Bauer's newest book, which is the first book of his that didn't make me cry. So we'll see. We'll see how this one goes. But I am going to kind of get settled. I'm going to get my charger so I can charge my Kindle. And I'm just going to kind of hang out. I think it's what? Oh, that clock doesn't work. Alexa, what time is it?
2:18 p.m.
Enough rambling. I'm gonna go get everything situated and get started on this last book. Hopefully I can actually get this video up on time then, because it's supposed to go up Friday and we're already at Tuesday.
Before I sleep, hear the crickets, see the moon, side by side and through. No limit to what we can do.
Hello. So it is actually Thursday today, and I meant to update you yesterday, but honestly, life happened and it just didn't happen. But I did finish The Quarterback by Tell Bauer, and I actually finished this in one sitting. I ended up staying up way too late to finish this. One, because my husband ended up working really late and didn't get home until like 10:30. I got to like the 80% mark or just before the 80% mark. And so I had like an hour and a couple minutes left, and that's when shit hit the fan. And I was like, I can't stop now. So I ended up finishing it, and it was great. I gave it 5 stars. So I'm going to try to do this without spoiling anything, since this is technically a follow-up. I would say that you do kind of have to read this one in order, just because of who the main characters are, and the backstory in book 1 is pretty prevalent in this one, so I am glad that I read them in order. I loved the main characters in this one. There is, I think, like a 19-year age gap-ish. So this opens up with Colton, who is the star quarterback, and he is considering entering into the NFL draft. And right at the beginning of the book, he decides that he is going to stick it out for one more year, enjoy being a college student and playing with his best friend, and they're really close teammates and all of that. Unfortunately, during the first practice of the year, he ends up getting a very, very serious shoulder injury. It kind of derails his entire life. It is pretty much his entire summer trying to get better, and kind of how his goals in life change over time. Him and Nick coming together. I loved their romance so much. This is far more slow burn than the Jock is, and I wouldn't say it's like particularly slow burn, but these two do not start off in a romance. Like, they don't start off like being ridiculously attracted to each other. They are really just kind of there for each other as friends, first and foremost. And then the attraction comes like over time, and they're kind of like blindsided by it. And I thought it was so well done. Colton is one of my favorite heroes. He needs to be protected and loved at all costs because like one of his like big things throughout here is that he doesn't feel like he has anybody that is like unconditionally his. His father walked out on him and his mom when he was really, really young. His mom is extremely distant because she never really planned to have kids in the first place. And she's this big, high powered lawyer. And like, she loves him, but like, she's not really there for him. And so he feels like he has no one in his corner. And even his best friend Wes is now in a very serious relationship. And so he feels like he's now lost his best friend too. And he just feels lost. And him and Nick end up forming this bond, the two of them, and it was just so beautiful. I liked it so much. This does have a pretty angsty like ending. Like I said, shit hits the fan at like 75%, and it was so hard to read. This is one of those cases where like the characters that you loved in book 1 royally fuck up in book 2. I was ready to crawl into that book and punch Justin and Wes in the face. I was so mad. It hurt my heart a lot, but I really liked how this all turned out. It was great. I love Tal Bauer's writing. 5 stars to that one. So what did we learn from this? I have no idea. So overall, let's see, I gave 2 books 3 stars, 1 book 4 star, and 1 book 5 star. I almost feel like it's unfair to include The Quarterback in like my final ranking. I've read from this author before. I knew I was going to love this book, so it almost feels unfair. So ignoring The Quarterback, moms and dads were pretty much equal. I didn't DNF any in the dad's video, but I had 2 3 stars and a 4 star, and in the mom's video I had a 3 star and a 4 star. So like, they're pretty equal. So I don't know if we learned anything from this other than the fact that my favorite books tend to be best friend's parent. There's that layer of angst and secrecy and drama, and I love the drama. I love it. I guess that's what we learned, is not necessarily if moms or dads do it better, but best friends' parents do it better. So thank you guys so much for watching this video and this video series. If you watched both of them, let me know if you have any other good books that fit these prompts, particularly best friend's parent, because apparently that's where it's at. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye.